Welcome back. It's week 4 in the NFL 2025 right now. We are 3-0 right now. Prime to Houston, man. Deion Sanders, Coach Prime, taking this Super Bowl winning team in 2024, and they are very, very hot right now. Now, they're not the number one ranked team in the league. That is being held by his buddy. Yes, sir, his buddy, former offensive coordinator turned GM head coach over at the Washington Commanders in the nation's capital, and Eric Bieniemy. He has his team at 3-0 right now. The Texans are right behind him at number 2 at 3-0. And you got the Rams, Giants are both 3-0. Now the Giants played in the Super Bowl last year, losing a big time game to the young Houston Texans team. They got some competition in their division right now. It's a 4-team division in the NFC East right now. We're going to go to that real fast and see what those Commanders are facing right now. Well, you got the Commanders 3-0 and the Giants 3-0, but the Eagles and both the Cowboys both have one wins right now. That doesn't mean that this is not the best division of football right now. It still is, in my opinion, and it's early for these two teams to really have two losses apiece right now. The Cowboys is up and coming as well as the Eagles. We love what they did over the last 2-3 seasons as far as free agency and drafting. They've been doing a really good job, as well as Jerry's World. They're doing a really good job over there. But the Giants are the defending NFC champions, period, right? And they're trying to get back to a Super Bowl to better put a better output than they did. But who's standing in the way? Enemy's way. No pun intended. The Commanders are doing a really good job right now. They did a hell of a job in the offseason. They started around week 8 last year when they made the hire. They did not make Bieniemy an intern. They made him the head coach going forward, and he started to blow it up right away. And the things he did going up until from week 8 all the way to the end of the regular season, and then what he did in the offseason and the draft was spectacular. The trades he made, the picks he got, players he acquired. This team is on their way right now, and this could be one of the most explosive teams in the NFC. With that being said, when you look at the NFC as a whole, though, you just take a look at the NFC as a whole. You got some really good teams sitting up here, right? 3 undefeated teams over here, and then you got the Bucks at 2-0, 2-1, Panthers 2-1, Packers 2-1. Some will say the best team in the NFC isn't really doing so well this year, right? Seahawks are sitting at 1-2 right now. They got a big time game against Coach Prime and this Houston Texans team. Let's take a look at where they at right now as far as teams meeting each other, as the Houston Texans travel to the 12th man to take on Lamar Jackson and the Seattle Seahawks. This roster is very good. Let's take a look at it, see how those Seahawks fare. Now, they did give Lamar Jackson a contract, and his path to that contract was weird because he wanted to finish his career in Baltimore. And he was noticed saying that he wanted to go not only stay in Baltimore, but bring a championship to Baltimore. Well, those chances are gone because the owner over there decided he wasn't worth the big time contract. They moved on and picked up DJ Ugalele in the 7th round and went right back to the playoffs. But Lamar Jackson had his team number 1 in the NFC in 2024, and they made it all the way to the championship game where they lost a 10-point game to the New York Giants. So they are definitely on a fight to get back, climb right back into the mountains. So the mountains, right? Who's the big guys? That's what they want to be. Lamar Jackson is not only a top 5 quarterback in the NFL, he's a top 5 guy, period, right? At the running back position, we like what they got. Kenneth Walker, the third, is still here. But Trey Benson is going to emerge. In my opinion, I think Trey Benson is a great 1-2 punch. You got 2 big backs, right? You got 220-pound Trey Benson, 209-pound Kenneth Walker. But Kenneth Walker runs like he's the 220-pound guy. And Trey Benson is just figuring it out in his second year from Florida State. That's a good 1-2 punch there. When you look at what they got at the receiver position, DK Metcalf is all world. You know, when you look at the rankings of wide receivers in the NFL, let's take a look at what he did with Lamar Jackson last year. 105 catches, averaged 14 yards a catch, 85.4 yards a game. He had 12 touchdowns, 1,400 yards last year. Really good season for him. He's on the rise now to become that guy. They're getting comfortable together, right? Comes down to reps and how they get together. Tyler Lockett, Tyler Boyd, and then once they drafted Antonio Williams, They took this receiving core, every last one of them. Tyler Scott's been here. They took every last one of them. They went to Florida with Lamar Jackson for the entire summer. These guys didn't go on vacations or anything like that. What they did was they locked in and got their timing and understanding together. Lamar Jackson does a really good job in the offseason to get his receivers together and really try and figure out how they want to attack, and learn each other to better move forward. I think that's the difference in Lamar Jackson. He's starting to get away from using his athleticness and all that ability of being the best dual threat quarterback we've ever seen outside of Michael Vick to being a guy that has the brain and the smarts of uh, Tom Brady or Peyton Manning, right? He's really turning his game into that. As he gets older and those legs start to slow down, although they haven't, but he's starting to turn himself into that guy where he's thinking from the pocket, right? Lamar Jackson's shown over the years that he can be a pocket passer. And, the knock on him was he wouldn't be able to be a good quarterback throwing the football, and he's shown and proved that tenfold. But when you got, Lockett and Boyd, who's been in the league for 9 to 10 years, right? Lockett going on his 11th season, Boyd going on his 10th season. And then you merge that with one of the bigger, better athletes at the wide receiver position, the DK Metcalf, going into his 7th season. And then you bring in the two young guys, right? You let them guys all develop together. But where their strength is at, we love the fact that Jaheim Bell at the tight end position with Noah Fant. They got two tight ends. So Lamar is still in the kind of same system he was in with Baltimore Ravens. Really good run game, solid ass receivers with an all-star at the receiver position. And then you look at the tight end position, Jaheim Bell, gives him a guy that can do a little bit of everything, right? Not only is he a guy that can win one-on-one matchups, he's definitely athletic enough to better do things. They could also put him in the backfield and do some fullback things with him, as well as, but he's a solid blocker. Now, solid average blocker, needs to get a little better at that. We know that, they know that, but the way they use him, they flex him out more than they use him as an end line. They use Noah Fant for that. They want Noah Fant to be the guy that's going to knock a head off in a blocking game. Look at the offensive line they dealing with. You got Charles Leno Jr. He's the left tackle, 33 years old, while they got Logan Brown learning underneath him. Superstar there. You got Osiris Turns when they drafted him from Florida. He's been a guy. He's developing into a really good guard for these guys. You need athletic guards when you got a quarterback like Lamar Jackson. Grant Gibson is in his second year as the starting center over here. And you look at the right guard, Marcus Tate. He's in year 2 right now as well. And he's trying to get better. They say he needs to get a little bit better in pass blocking. He's a really good run blocker, though. And then at right tackle, they got young Johan Moheen from USC, and he's developing into something special along with Abraham Lucas there. So you look at the defensive side of things, BJ Ojulari is turning into a superstar over here. At the right end, Leonard Williams, big time right end. They use him at D tackle and at defensive end along with Yannick Njoku. At D tackles, they got Deron Payne from Washington, Jared Clark, two really, really good stout inside stuff and run D tackles. They're really good run D tackles, both of them. At the outside linebacker, Dallas Turner is going to be one of those guys that are a dog off the edge. Look and see what he did year 1, 15 and a half sacks. 70 tackles, 12 tackles for loss. This guy's an animal. He's turning into one of those all-pro guys. And thinking about all-pro, when you look at him, take a look at Dallas Turner, I think he is a Pro Bowl player already. Yes, sir. He got one Pro Bowl appearance. Man, he was the 10th pick overall last draft. When Will Anderson went to the Texans and they said Dallas Turner was better upside than Will Anderson. Dallas Turner is showing it right now. Now he's nowhere as close to what Will has done in his 2 seasons at Houston, but he's getting there, right? Let's see how he got to a fresh start this year. He's sitting with 3 sacks right now in 3 games. Now you look at the middle linebacker. You got Cole Holcomb, another Washington Commander player. Remember what happened? The Commanders sent some guys there to be able to get AR-15 out of the building. You got Jordy Brooks, young Keith Brown, and then Power Echoes they drafted this year. Their linebacker, especially the middle linebacker group, they are very fast. They got a fast middle linebacker crew. Jalen Moody, another fast Alabama player. He's developing into something special. You got Jackson State's Antonio Doyle, who's also a guy that they are counting on, especially in special teams right now, right? And then the secondary, Tyreek Woolen is the man child back there. They brought in Sean Murphy Button, Aubrey Thomas. Drayden Norwood, the rookie out of Missouri. You're looking at Jason Marshall Jr. in his second year, and then Jalen Davis in his second year as well. So these two guys are guys that are going to take over this cornerback room in the future. You look at what they have; they are solid, but still got to be developed, right? They do have two guys that they can count on, especially with Tyreek Woolen being a shutdown corner. And then in the safety rooms, David McKinney's here. They do need help there, but they still have aging Jamal Adams. Now, in terms of matchup, Houston Texans versus the Seahawks. I think for the Seahawks to win this ball game, they're going to have to use Lamar Jackson more than just a guy that sits back in the pocket and delivers the ball to his receivers. Lamar Jackson is going to have to really, really win the game in the run game. I think if they can get Trey Benson and they can get Lamar Jackson with Kenneth Walker, all three of those guys going in a run game, I think this will make this team a hard team to beat. They can beat the Houston Texans. I think there was any team that can do it, it's going to start there, right? Now, when it comes down to the Houston Texans secondary, they are, you know what they do, right? They them boys, right? That secondary is really good. They cause a lot of turnovers. They're fast. They might be one of the fastest defenses in the NFL. But when you have the fastest quarterback, maybe the fastest guy in the NFL, Lamar Jackson, and then you got some good balance with speed, and then DK Metcalf is a mismatch to any corner in the league. I like that matchup. Now you're going to see a lot of Travis Hunter and DK Metcalf going at it today. And if DK Metcalf can win that battle on young rookie Travis Hunter, then I think this team would be in a good situation. But they're going to have to use Lamar Jackson in the run game for them to be successful. The Houston Texans really do not give up a lot of running yards. They will bend but don't break when it comes down to the passing game. Remember last year they were the worst passing team, defensive team in the league, but was first in turnovers by far, right? They had way more interceptions than any other team in the league, but they give up a lot of passing yards. That bend but don't break defense. I think the underrated part of their defense is that linebacker room. Although Coach Prime and Charles Kelly were spoken and talked about Justin Flo having to step his game up. He'll be the mic'd up guy tonight. They said Justin Flo will have the mic as 2 games in a row where he'll be mic'd up. They're trying to get him to become the Justin Flo that was highly sought after in high school, right? The man child, one of the best linebacker recruits we ever seen. They're trying to get him to get back to that level of football. And it's hard when you got the Moy Kennedy as the lead guy and at the middle linebacker level. But if there's anybody that can motivate a kid to get to the level they're looking for him to get to, is Coach Primetime. So let's look and see what Justin Flo does today, because he's going to be responsible for taking on these running backs, while Demore Kennedy is going to do a lot more spying on Lamar Jackson. So when we get back, Seahawks and the 12th man, Houston taking on Lamar Jackson and the Seattle Seahawks in Seattle.